UFC 286 is this weekend, and I'm going to be giving you a full card prediction and breakdown of the Usman versus Leon Edwards 3 card. I'm going to start from the early prelims to the main event. So without further ado, let's get right into this very, very heavy card. I believe there's 15 fights on it, so there's going to be a lot. I'm going to tread right through some of these, especially some of the earlier fights. I'm going to run right through them, including this one. So we have Veronica, Hardy, or Macedo versus Juliana Miller. Hardy, 6-4, 27 years of age, 64 inches of reach. Miller, 3-1, 26 years of age and 66 inches of reach. Miller will have a 2-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Juliana Miller because I just don't think Veronica Hardy. It does look very weird and sound very weird, but I don't know if she's as committed to the game as she once was. If you see some of these fights, you have, 6.5 years ago, then to 4 years ago and 9 months, and then 4 years ago she fought like 9 months right after there, and then 3 years, and then took a long break, and now hasn't fought in 3 years. So I just don't know how committed to the game she really is. Yeah, that's my only gripe here. I don't know how committed she is. I honestly, when this fight was made, I was surprised she was still in the UFC. In all honesty, I had no idea she still was, but a lot of people are going with Juliana Miller. I think this one probably goes to a decision. I think Juliana Miller is actually a pretty decent fighter. She's only 3-1, but she was the winner of the Ultimate Fighter and looked pretty good against Rogan Walker, the lady she's fighting, who is all right. Let's be real, Rogan Walker's all right. Some people had Rogan Walker beating her, so I guess it's a pretty impressive win, but won the Ultimate Fighter. I think she can get it done here. Still very young, 26 years old. So yeah, I think she gets it done by decision. Up the card, we have Herbert versus Ludovit Klein. Herbert, 12-4, 34 years of age and 77 inches of reach. Klein, 19-4, 28 years of age and 72 inches of reach. Herbert will have a 5-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Ludovit Klein. I think Herbert's actually a pretty decent fighter too. He's very technical on the feet, but he just doesn't have a chin. He did decent against Kyle Nelson, did pretty well for the majority of that fight. Was hurting Ilia Topuria pretty badly until he pretty much wasn't. I guess you could say. I believe he got KO'd in the second round. He pretty much dominated that first round. In the second round, he was doing solid, and then he just got put out cold. So he's a very chinny guy. I just think Ludovit Klein, I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities everywhere in this fight. I think he's going to be able to especially counter on the feet and make it get scrappy a little bit. I think he's good at throwing a lot of counters and catching people, and I think he could probably just catch Herbert, if not hurt him very badly, to where the judges will give him a pretty good scorecard on this fight. So I think Ludovit Klein wins this one. I think he's going to be able to counter pretty successfully, and I think he gets it done there. So yeah, I have Ludovit Klein by a decision. He may get the finish here and hurt Herbert very badly and say like a TKO finish, probably mid to late round, but I think he probably gets a decision here. Maybe a little bit closer decision in this matchup. Up the card, we have Joanne Wood versus Luana Carolina. Wood, 15-8, 37 years of age and 65.5 inches of reach. Carolina, 8-3, 29 years of age and 69 inches of reach. She will have a 3.5-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Joanne Wood. I think although this fight is kind of just one of those classic women's MMA lower level fights, I guess I'll preface it so I don't get barred with a couple things. But the lower level women's MMA, where basically it can go either way. But I think Joanne Wood lost to Alexa Grasso recently, lost to Tyler Santos, lost to Lauren Murphy by split decision, beat Jessica Ai, which pretty normal, and then lost to Jennifer Maia. So she's losing to some of those top fighters in that division. Luana Carolina losing to Molly McCann. She beat Lupi Godinez, so that's a decent win, but I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Lost to Ariana Lipsky, beat Priscilla Cachoeira. I don't know. Losing to Molly McCann, spinning back elbow, which was a very nice knockout. She did lose to Molly McCann, and Molly McCann's not very good, so I'm going to go with Joanne Wood. She's the slight favorite according to Tapology. I'm not necessarily going to, I don't think, let me actually check. We have, we have a -185 for Joanne Wood in this matchup. So yeah, I'm going to go Joanne Wood by decision is what I feel comfortable with this one. Up the card, we have Jake Hadley versus Malcolm Gordon. Jake Hadley, 9-1, 26 years of age and 68 inches of reach. Malcolm Gordon, 14-6, 32 years of age and 70 inches of reach. He will have a 2-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Jake Hadley, even though Malcolm Gordon made it decently competitive against Muhammad Mokaev, beat Francisco Figueiredo, lost to Sumodoerji, I think is how you say it. Oh, God. And lost to Miro Bazzi. Jake Hadley starting off a little rough. He did beat Mitch Raposo on the Contender Series, but started out pretty rough against Alan Nascimento, who's a really big flyweight. So I don't really blame him there, but did come back, looked really good against Carlos Candelario. I think he gets it done on the ground against Malcolm Gordon. I think he's going to be able to sub him later in late round finish. If not, I think he does win a pretty decisive decision. So I think Jake Hadley by a late round submission might be the play, at least for me. That's the pick I'm probably going to lock in. Probably a late round submission for Jake Hadley in this one. Up the card, we have Christian Leroy Duncan versus Dusko Todorovic. Duncan 7-0, 27 years of age. Todorovic 12-3, 28 years of age and 74 inches of reach. I am going to go with Christian Leroy Duncan. Very good wins. I think Dusko Todorovic is actually a pretty decently chinny dude, so I just think Christian Leroy Duncan is pretty much just going to KO him pretty early. Beat Jordan Wright, which is a good thing, I guess. Lost to Chidi Njokuani. Beat Mike Pitolo, lost to Gregory Rodriguez, lost to Punahele Sariano. I just think Christian Leroy Duncan's going to be able to get it done on the feet. He's very technical. I think he can just get it done. He's got the power to KO Dusko Todorovic in this matchup. So going with Christian Leroy Duncan by KO, probably first round. Up the card, we have Lerone Murphy versus Gabriel Santos. Murphy 11-0, 31 years of age, 73.5 inches of reach. Santos 10-0, 26 years of age and 71.5 inches of reach. Lerone Murphy will have a 2-inch reach advantage in this matchup. Lerone Murphy coming off of wins against Makwan Americani, Douglas Silva de Andrade, and Ricardo Rambo. So pretty decent wins, split decision. I believe that was a draw against Sabir Tukhugov. So decent draw to have there. For Gabriel Santos coming in on short notice to fight in this matchup, undefeated, is actually a pretty good prospect out of LFA. Depending on how this one goes, it will be a very interesting outcome for Gabriel Santos. I was watching some of his fights. He's still extremely young, which is why I kind of give the edge here for Lerone Murphy. I think he's going to be the more technical fighter on the feet. I think he's going to be a little bit more polished. I think he's going to be a little bit more, at the 31 years of age, I think he's just going to be a little bit more, not necessarily skilled, but I think he's going to have everything down. He's had a lot of years developed in the, not necessarily UFC, but in fighting in general. He is only 11-0 and has only been fighting since 2016, but I just think he's a little bit more solid on the feet. I trust him more on the feet against Gabriel Santos. When it gets to the ground, I think it'll be a little bit more interesting. But I think that this is a very important matchup for Gabriel Santos, more importantly, in all honesty. I just think if he is going to impress people, it's going to be in this matchup. And I think if he does win, I think a lot of eyes will be on him, but I am going to go with Lerone Murphy. I think he just gets the decision here, outstrikes him on the feet, avoids some of the takedowns, and I think he wins this matchup. So Lerone Murphy by a decision in this one. A lot of people are saying a decision for Lerone Murphy in this matchup. Quite a bit of people are saying KO, but I am going to go with Lerone Murphy. Up the card, we have Muhammad Mokaev versus Jafel Filho. I believe it's how you say Jafel, I think. Mokaev 8-0, 22 years of age, 70 inches of reach. Filho 14-2, 29 years of age and 68.5 inches of reach. Mokaev will have a 1.5-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Mokaev, but I am not necessarily worried for this match, but I am a little bit worried as for just the Mokaev in general. I think his last couple fights have actually been relatively not as impressive as I thought they were going to be. I think he looked super impressive against Cody Durden when he came in, and then these last two were a little bit, I feel like the Charles Johnson fight was actually pretty close. I think Malcolm Gordon definitely had a really good test for Muhammad Mokaev, and I just don't think the way I see him now is a little bit different than when I saw him after the Cody Durden fight, for sure. So for Jafel Filho, came in on the Contender Series, didn't look too impressive in all honesty, did have a really nice KO win, but I do think Mokaev is better on the feet and better on the ground. But here's the thing with this matchup. Mokaev is coming to this fight with a shoulder injury, I believe. He was supposed to get surgery on his shoulder. Didn't end up happening. He is not getting the surgery, I guess. He's taking this fight, and then I think after this fight, he's going to get surgery. So I'm not sure why. Maybe he just wanted to be on the UK card, but I think it is a little risky, especially with Filho. He is decent on the ground. This is a little bit dangerous for him, especially for Mokaev at minus 800. Mokaev winning this fight, maybe by finish or maybe by decision. I can see actually going to a decision in this matchup. So I'm going to go Mokaev by decision. It is a little worrying with the messed up shoulder, but I think he still gets it done. Up the card, we have Sam Patterson versus Yanal Ashmos. Patterson, 10-1, 26 years of age, 78 inches of reach. Ashmos, 6-0, 27 years of age. I am going to go with Patterson. I think he's a very lengthy dude. I mean, you can see his neck in this photo. It's like a giraffe neck. He's got a very, very long neck for sure. 26 years of age, 78 inches of reach, a very long reach. He's at the lightweight division. So yeah, it's a very long reach. Sam Patterson, I think he's going to be able to keep a really good range in this matchup. He did get hurt pretty badly on this Contender Series matchup against Chenchi, I think is how you say it. But I do think he gets it done here. He's a minus 280 favorite, which is a little interesting, but I do think he has all the skills on the feet to win this fight. I think there is a little bit of a worry early on in this matchup, but I do think he eventually gets it done. Maybe either by like a submission or by TKO in the later rounds, probably second or third round. I think he's able to keep a really good distance on the feet and be super technical and just outstrike Ashmaz on the feet. So Sam Patterson by finish in the second or third round by submission or TKO. I'm not necessarily too sure about that, but I can definitely see a submission for sure. 56% of the people choosing Patterson are saying submission. So yeah, submission or TKO later on in that matchup. Up the card, we have Chris Duncan versus Omar Morales. Duncan, 9-1, 29 years of age and 71.5 inches of reach. Morales, 11-3, 37 years of age and 74 inches of reach. Will have a 2.5 inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Chris Duncan. I think he has the power to finish this one off early on. I think in this matchup against Charlie Campbell, he did have a little bit of a rough start, I guess, in that first round, but then was able to come away and get that KO over Charlie Campbell. Very, very tough matchup there. I think he was on the Contender Series before, and he did lose to Borshev, Borshev, I think, is actually a decent fighter. I think he's been on a little bit of a losing skid, I believe. Is he? Yeah. He lost to DeKG, and Mike Davis is a pretty good fighter anyways. So, but beat Charlie Campbell, super impressive there. I think he gets it done early on. I think he maybe he does struggle out a little bit in this matchup, but I do think he gets it done. I think he's going to be a little bit of the tougher opponent here, especially a 37-year-old opponent. I think he's going to be able to get it done for sure. He's got the power. I think he KOs Omar Morales, probably second round. I would say second round KO for Chris Duncan in this matchup. Up the card, we have Jack Shore versus Marquand Amirkhani. Shore, 16-1, 28 years of age and 71 inches of reach. Amirkhani, 17-8, 34 years of age and 72 inches of reach. Will have a 1 inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Jack Shore. His last matchup, he did lose to Ricky Simone, which I think I predicted that. But I do think he moved up to featherweight for this matchup, so which is super interesting. I think the reason why Ricky Simone beat him was because he's the stronger dude. So him coming up, he did beat Tamir Valiev too, which was super impressive. But the reason that I thought Simone was going to beat him was because he was heavier. So it's very interesting to see him going up to feather. I kind of want to see what he looks like a little bit. But Amirkhani, a little interesting here. He kind of just has he's one of those guys with one of those rounds. Let's be real. A first round submission win, second round submission win. It's like a lot of the times he really just needs just that one round. If he's able to survive one round against Amirkhani, I think he's going to be able to get this done. I think he's probably going to be the more durable fighter later on in this fight. I think he's going to be a lot better on the feet. I think he's going to get this one done for sure. I can see him beating up Amirkhani and finishing him later on in this matchup. So, especially after Amirkhani kind of tires out. You kind of saw that when he got KO'd by, what was it? The knee against Lerone Murphy. Kind of tired out, was pretty much, I wouldn't say dominating, but he was controlling him pretty well in the first round against Lerone Murphy. Came out in the second round and just got kneed out cold. So he does kind of tire out a little bit. I think we'll see that for sure. Did lose to Jonathan Pierce, which is a good opponent too, but you do see him kind of tire out a little bit, which is why he does get so many of those early on first round submissions, but I just don't see that happening against Jack Shore. I think he finishes them late, second or third round finish for Jack Shore. Up the card to our main, I wasn't going to say main event, to our main card, we have Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Vettori, 18-5, 29 years of age and 74 inches of reach. Dolidze, 12-1, 34 years of age and 76 inches of reach. We'll have a 2-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I am going to go with Dolidze in this matchup. I was really struggling because I saw a lot of people picking Vettori. I was like, damn, but I'm gonna get the underdog here. I think what Dolidze was underdog in his last couple fights. He was an underdog against Hermanson. I believe he was an underdog against Haas. I don't think he was an underdog versus... Oh, he was an underdog versus Dawkins. Interesting. But yeah, I believe he's an underdog in his last 3 fights, which was his last 3 wins also. So I think he gets it done. I just think Vettori will just end up taking him down to the ground. Roman Dolidze is not very good on the feet. He has power, not very good on the feet. Maybe he does catch Vettori. Whitaker definitely... I'd had a bet for a decision for Robert Whitaker by decision that last matchup, and I thought Whitaker had a really good chance at taking the chin of Vettori because he was hurting him really, really badly in that matchup. So maybe Dolidze can find the shot on Vettori, but Vettori just has an iron chin. But I don't know. Vettori, he's not like the smartest guy. You just see him taking him down and Dolidze just trapping him up and getting like a rear naked choke submission like the second round. I can see Vettori just doing so well in the first and then just getting submitted. Of course, Dolidze coming off a very impressive fight against Jack Hermanson, getting him in, I believe it was, what was it? It was a calf slicer, and then pretty much just ground and pounded him off of the back, which was super impressive to watch. Very good on the ground, Dolidze is. I think he gets it done. I just think Vettori ends up taking him to the ground. I think he'll obviously win on the feet. I think what is also very interesting, I believe Dolidze was at Extreme Couture. I think right as this fight was made, Vettori moved right over there, and I think there's some kind of drama or whatever with the fight. So Vettori is still being trained by Nixick, I believe. So they have trained with Dolidze quite a bit. Unless they're still both working at the same gym, this should be an interesting matchup. But I don't know. I can just see Vettori taking him down to the ground. Maybe Dolidze hits him with a good shot. He shoots him for a takedown, and then Dolidze is just traps him up with the choke. So I'm going to go Dolidze here. I'm going to go with an underdog. I think this is actually a pretty decent underdog. The people choosing this matchup are saying saying Vettori by decision, 89% for the people that say he's going to win. Pretty interesting for the Dolidze people. They're saying 30% KO TKO, which against Vettori I think is a little wild. Submission 19%, which I think I can see that happening. If not, I can see a decision in all honesty. If it's a decision, I think it will probably lean towards Vettori a little bit more because that just means there's more chances on the feet that I think Vettori would do better in. So yeah, I'm going to go Dolidze by a submission. I think he just traps Vettori. I think Vettori just dives in for a takedown. Dolidze just gets his back, and I think he just chokes him out. So yeah, Dolidze by a second or third round submission. I think second round is probably the best. So second round submission. Up the card, we have Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. Maia, 20-9, 34 years of age, 64 inches of reach. O'Neill, 9-0, 25 years of age and 69 inches of reach. O'Neill will have a 5-inch reach advantage in this matchup. I think I am going to go with Casey O'Neill. Jennifer Maia is a very, very solid fighter in the flyweight women's division. She just beat Marina Moroz, lost to Amanda Fiorot before that, lost to Caitlin Chukagian, beat Jessica Ai, lost to Valentina Shevchenko. So her losses are actually pretty good. Let's be real. She's losing to some very, very good fighters, especially recently. So for Casey O'Neill, she's coming off a 1 year, I guess, layoff, I guess you can call it. I think she was injured from what I believe. And her last fight was a split decision win over Roxanne Modafferi, which is a pretty interesting fight. But I am going to lean with Casey O'Neill here. I think they move around quite a bit. I'm sorry, both of them move around quite a bit. And I think Casey O'Neill is just going to be longer here, which she is longer at 5-inch reach advantage. She's going to be longer. I think she's going to use her reach pretty well here. I think she's going to work on her counters and is going to be a little bit more better here with the head movement. I think she's going to avoid some of the bigger shots from Jennifer Maia, and I think she's going to be able to outstrike her. Probably 29-28 in this matchup. I think Casey O'Neill, also being 25 years old, I think I'm going to edge it towards improvements for Casey O'Neill. At least I hope, especially with 1 year off. I think she's going to be developing quite a bit, especially at the age she is. So I'm going to go with Casey O'Neill by decision, 29-28 for this one. Up the card, we have Gunnar Nelson versus Bryan Barberena. Nelson, 18-5, 34 years of age and 72 inches of reach. Barberena, 18-9, 33 years of age and 72 inches of reach. They both have the same reach. I am going to go with Gunnar Nelson. I think he gets him to the ground and subs him. Probably first or second round in this one. I just think Bryan Barberena in that last fight against RDA, he did not look good on the ground at all. It just exposed it to everybody, in all honesty. Looks horrible on the ground. I think he just gets destroyed on the ground by Gunnar Nelson. I think he submits him. Yeah, for Gunnar Nelson, last fight, Takashi Sato won. Lost to Gilbert Burns, lost to Leon Edwards. Good losses to have. Beat Alex Oliveira, lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio, which isn't horrible, but it was like 6 years ago, so very long ago. But I do think he gets him down to the ground, and I think he submits him. So I'm going to go with Gunnar Nelson by a first or second round submission in this matchup. I think I'll lean towards first round here. I just think Bryan Barberena is not very good, especially when it comes to like defending takedowns and everything like that. So going with Gunnar Nelson. Up the card to our co-main event, we have Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. This is honestly like the co-main event and the main event is what I'm really looking forward to on this card. Obviously, they're great fights, but this whole card, 15 fights, all 13 other ones I'm like met on. Like these are the two fights I'm most looking forward to. The two most high-level fights I believe is on here, other than some of the prospects on the earlier parts on the card. I guess Vittori versus Dolidze is nice, but this is one of the fights I'm actually looking forward to quite a bit. For Justin Gaethje, 23-4, 34 years of age, 70 inches of reach. Fiziev, 12-1, 30 years of age and 71.5 inches of reach. Fiziev will have a 1.5 inch reach advantage in this one. I am going to go with Rafael Fiziev. I think he gets it done. I think he KOs. Well, I'll say TKO specifically. I think he TKOs Justin Gaethje here. I think Justin Gaethje just is kind of wild, especially in that last matchup. Charles Oliveira hurt him immediately. I am a little, well, let me actually get this organized a little bit so I can empty my thoughts so it's not all spit out everywhere. But Justin Gaethje, I'll just go over his last couple matchups. Charles Oliveira lost by rear naked choke, beat Michael Chandler, lost to Khabib, and then beat Tony Ferguson. Rafael Fiziev beat RDA by KO, beat Brad Riddell by KO, beat Bobby Green by decision, and then beat Moicano by KO. So Fiziev has looked very impressive, especially recently. So wheel kick finish against Brad Riddell, which was very nice. For this matchup, though, Justin Gaethje, I just think it's going to be too wild for a guy like Fiziev. Fiziev is just super technical. I even think like the leg kicks from Gaethje won't be as effective in this matchup too. If you've seen Fiziev strike, he's just so technical. He's used to that kind of fighting. He's a kickboxer, a very good kickboxer, Muay Thai kickboxer. Trains at Tiger Muay Thai with all the people, with a lot of some great fighters. The Piotr Jans, they got a lot of guys that just go over to Tiger Muay Thai and do very well over there. So yeah, you can kind of see the list of fighters here. They all go to Tiger Muay Thai. Very impressive group they got there. But Rafael Fiziev, very good on the feet for sure. I just think Justin Gaethje just enters this mode where he just gets very, very sloppy. I just think I can see Fiziev kind of entering the pocket a little bit and then just dodging some of the strikes that Gaethje throws. I think Fiziev will piece him up a little bit, throw some body kicks and some leg kicks, and I think it's gonna like kind of, I don't want to say worry Justin Gaethje, but I think it'll get him going, like thinking this is a scrap, thinking this is like a Michael Chandler fight where you're just gonna start throwing some hooks. I can just see Fiziev like piecing him up, like leaning backwards, and then just see like Justin Gaethje overthrow, and then Fiziev just keep piecing him up on the feet. And I just think when you see Justin Gaethje overthrow, I just can see Fiziev catching him, and then just have Justin Gaethje kind of like go off balance a little bit, and I just see Fiziev just pounding away on him on the ground, winning by TKO. I think Justin Gaethje's durability is also very interesting and very important for this fight. He said he got hurt immediately against Charles Oliveira, and I think this fight actually comes out pretty fast too. I think Fiziev rushes in there immediately. I think he just starts piecing up Gaethje. I think Gaethje gets a little nervous that this is like going at a very fast pace, kind of like what Oliveira did, and I think he just starts throwing. I think eventually, even after Gaethje hurt Oliveira, he was like throwing very, very hard, very heavy. Obviously, it was for a title. It was a little bit more stakes, but he's throwing very heavy. And I think if you're doing that against Fiziev, I think you're just going to get caught. The durability is a little bit of a question at this point for Justin Gaethje. He is a little bit older, 34 years of age, has taken a lot of CTE and a lot of damage in his career, and I can just see Fiziev catching him, putting him down on the ground and winning by TKO in this matchup. So I'm going to go with Fiziev. I just think he's too technical for a Justin Gaethje. I think he gets it done. I don't see Gaethje wrestling either, and I think Fiziev not worrying about that wrestling will actually benefit him more here. So I'm going to go with Rafael Fiziev in this matchup by TKO in the first round. Up the card to our main event of the evening, we have Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3. Leon Edwards 20-3, 31 years of age, 74 inches of reach. Usman 20-2, 35 years of age and 76 inches of reach. Usman will have a 2-inch reach advantage in this matchup. For this one, I think I am going to go with Leon Edwards. I actually had to think about this one quite a bit. I was rewatching some of the fights. I am going to go with Leon Edwards. I think I'm a little bit more confident in it. Also, I chose Usman in their last fight. I think Edwards will actually be in a lot better situation here for this matchup for sure. It's not going to be in altitude, which Kamaru Usman trains at. It's going to be in his home crowd. So, no, well, not technically not his home crowd, but it's going to be in the UK. There's going to be a big giant crowd behind him. So a lot of those wrestling situations where you saw Leon Edwards just held against the fence, you'll kind of see a little bit more energy out of Edwards. It's not going to be at altitude. He's not going to be as tired. Mentally speaking, going into this fight, Kamaru Usman being KO'd like that is going to be like very cautious of some of these things. Only 6 months ago was that fight also. He's going to be very cautious. He's going to be reacting very, very strongly to some of the feints I believe will happen. At least some of the feints that Leon Edwards will throw. I think he's going to throw a lot more kicks. I don't even think we saw a lot of kicks being thrown from Edwards till that actual knockout blow from Edwards in that 5th round. So I think we're going to see him throw a lot more feints. I think he's going to avoid some of those bad clinching scenarios. I think Kamaru Usman, durability is a question for him also. 35 years of age, almost 36. Dude has to walk down the stairs backwards. I mean, he's not really going to be wrestling that hard. Is a lot of it is just his mass that he's using to hold these guys against the fence. So I just don't think the durability for Kamaru Usman, even his hand, I think there's like pictures shown of his hand being in a brace or something or whatever. But durability is kind of a question for Kamaru Usman. I think mentally, Leon Edwards coming in with a lot of confidence, going to throw a lot of feints, going to throw a lot of body kicks. I can just see him piecing up Kamaru Usman for 5 rounds. I don't know if he's going to get a KO. I think Kamaru Usman is going to be very safe here. I do think I don't know how people view this or not, because people view striking different ways. I think Kamaru Usman has the power, but I think 100% Leon Edwards is the most technical fighter here. I don't know if that's a hot take or anything, but I thought it for a while. But Leon Edwards is a very, very technical fighter, and I think that's why he kind of set up Kamaru Usman in the last match. And I think Kamaru Usman is going to be very reserved in this matchup. I don't think he's going to be taking as many chances. He's going to be blocking up high quite a bit. I don't think he wants to get caught again, and I think we'll see a lot of body shots being ripped from Leon Edwards. I think he's going to throw like a lot more feints with his legs, feint some of the high kicks, feint some of the body kicks, use a lot of leg kicks also. I think Kamaru Usman is going to try and go for those clinch exchanges there, put him against the fence, kind of like how he did before. Crowd being involved, no longer in altitude. We're going to see an energized Leon Edwards, and I think it's going to be a lot harder than a Kamaru Usman probably thinks. I do think, I just think Leon Edwards just pieces him up for 5 rounds. I think he might hurt him in a couple rounds where you'll see Kamaru Usman like kind of back up a little bit and just start, not necessarily cover up, but he's going to be very safe. I think he's going to get hurt a couple times, and I think he's just going to close off a little bit, not take too many chances defensively and offensively to take out Leon Edwards in this matchup. So I am going to go with Leon Edwards by like a 49-46. Knowing some of the judges' scorecards, it'll probably be a 48-47, but I think it'll realistically be like a 49-46. Maybe I'll go 48-47. I just think Leon Edwards is just going to outstrike him, be a little bit more technical than him. He's got the crowd. He's got more energy. He's got more confidence. I think Kamaru Usman's not going to react well, especially after that KO loss. We even saw Leon Edwards take down Kamaru Usman in that fight and control him on the ground, get on his back. And I think there's a lot of weird scenarios in that last fight also. I think there is, obviously some of the cheating stuff from Usman in that fight. But even, I think, the second round, Leon Edwards kind of like got his foot stuck in the cage, and I think he like slipped or something and got put in bad positions. I don't know. It's just very interesting things that happened in that fight that I don't think happened here. So I am going to go with Leon Edwards, maybe 49-46 or 48-47, but I do think he schools Kamaru Usman on that feet. I just think like the reason why I say 49-46 or 48-47, I think the power of Usman, I think we'll see maybe, I won't say the first round, but I think maybe Usman gets the second round, probably holds him against the fence a little bit, use some of the control time, pound away the body, stomp his feet. But I do think after that, Leon Edwards just pieces him up. Fifth round, I can just see Usman kind of just opening up a little bit and just kind of like rushing in just to get some of those power shots in, just to get some points for that last round, try and win the decision. But I just think Leon Edwards gets it, completely outstrikes him to a decision win for Leon Edwards. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't know how long this one is, but hope you guys enjoyed. I'll do actual full breakdowns for these fights, which is kind of why I just went over it briefly a little bit. I'll show like actual video footage and everything, kind of like how I did, I believe, John Jones and Cyril Gahn. Probably a little bit more footage. Let's be right. I didn't use too much in there, but I'll probably do a little bit more for those breakdowns. I'll do Fiziev and Gaethje, and then I'll do Usman and Edwards. So I hope you guys enjoyed the full card prediction breakdown. Let me know who you guys think will win the main event and the co-main event of Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, and Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. So I'll see you guys